an NFC East battle right off the bat. It's the coach. This is week 1 of the NFL on EA Sports. Coming up, an important season is about to begin for Eli Manning. His Giants get a tough test right out of the gate as they take on the defending NFC East champs, the Dallas Cowboys. I'll be back at halftime with a look around the early games. But let's get you over to Big D. Here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Coach, EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Lone Star State and the very mammoth AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Obviously, they do everything big here in Dallas, and the introduction of the Cowboys, no exception. They're set for football in Big D as their guys will do battle with Eli Manning and the New York Giants. So happy to be with you, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis, and we thought it would never get here, but here we are back together. It's opening weekend of the 100th season in the NFL.
So much football to talk about. That's our main focus. But how about how much happened in the offseason? Rules changes. Overtime rules were discussed in a big way. Some superstars changed addresses. There's a whole lot to talk about in the NFL in addition to this game we're getting ready to watch.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. 38-year-old Eli Manning heading out to lead the Giants. Look at the numbers, show how good Eli has been over the years. 7th all-time in passing yards, 8th in touchdowns, 7 4,000-yard seasons, including last year. And he's looking to make one last run before the sun sets on his Hall of Fame career. Manning now on first down, and his first look is incomplete. He was looking there for T.J. Jones. That'll bring up second down. And the starting offense now for the Giants.
And everyone's going to be watching running back Saquon Barkley, the rookie sensation in 2018. He will draw all the attention now on offense with Odell Beckham Jr. now in Cleveland.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Here's the former number 2 pick, the Pro Bowler Saquon Barkley. And he's going to get a good gain of 9 here up to the 34. Well, we see so many good battles in the NFC East, and Cowboys and Giants, they rarely disappoint. They didn't disappoint last year. Cowboys got the better of the Giants both times. Week 2, 20-13, and then in Week 17, a thriller, 36-35. That was a game where Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdown passes. Defense had a chance to get off the field here on the opening drive, couldn't do it.
I know that we go into these meetings with coaches, and sometimes maybe we can get, a little bit numb because they're always going to talk about how important third down is, aren't they? Offense and defense. In this case, one capitalized, and the other, as you said, had a chance to get off the field and didn't get it done.
So a solid run by Saquon Barkley, and another 1st and 10 here. Manning now to throw. And that'll be knocked away. It's incomplete. He was looking for Evan Ingram, the tight end. And that'll bring up second down. And a look at the defense for the Cowboys.
Sean Lee's one of my favorite players, and I don't mind saying it because I love his versatility. I can move him inside at the linebacker position. I can move him outside. I can rush him off the edge, rush him up the middle. He can drop into pass coverage. In fact, his versatility was on display even in his high school days, where he was a big-time high school basketball player that had a chance to play in college as well.
On second down, here's Barkley. Oh, he breaks another. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for third down.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there. They'll try to run for it with Barkley.
He's not going to get there. That won't even be close. It was blown up in the backfield. It's a loss of a full 3 yards, and it brings up 4th down.
How about the fellas with the stars on the side of their helmets rising up on defense? We always hear about the Cowboys' rushing offense. Their rush defense is pretty good as well, I think, because they're so cohesive. Defensive line, linebackers really work well together.
So on 4th down, here's Johnny Townsend to punt it. Back deep for the Cowboys, Tavon Austin. The Cowboys take over with their 4th-year quarterback Dak Prescott at the helm. The passing yards a career high last year, close to 3,900, but protection was a problem for Dak Prescott. His 56 sacks taken were 1 fewer than his previous 2 years combined. So Prescott of the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line. They run with Ezekiel Elliott, last year's NFL rushing leader. This will be a gain of about 8 to the 27-yard line.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they will pay dividends as the game progresses.
On 2nd down, Elliott pushes him over, and he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. 12 yards there and a 1st down.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it could be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on 1st down. Throwing, Prescott rolling to his right, and he hits Jason Witten, the tight end. And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. Another nice gain, 16 yards there and a 1st down again.
Well, from their point of view, this game could not be starting out much better, could it? Force a punt on defense, and now they're moving it crisply on offense.
Crisply, I like that. Yeah, moving it very, very well. Looks like the defense on their heels a little bit. You put a score in here, long way to go, but you're right, that's a heck of a start.
Yeah, and I think this is where the play caller is looking at his play sheet and saying, do I have that dagger play? Do I have that play and just finish them off right now? Because I think they'd love to gain that big advantage early. And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Now Prescott. They'll set up the screen to Elliott. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. It's a 6-yard loss on the play. And it'll be a 2nd and long.
You know what the key to a good screen pass is, don't you?
Bet you're going to tell me. Good blocking?
Well, good blocking eventually. But first is good acting. You want to let the defenders go past you, leak out to whichever side or even in the middle where you...
And he can't get away from the pressure. The Giants get there. Marcus Golden, too much to handle that time, gets the sack.
But enough takes a start to have a good drive. Quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
And this one hauled in by Tavon Austin. They'll get 19 out of this, but it will still bring up a 4th down.
I don't know how many times, not just in my playing career, but you and I working together, have we ever heard a coach say, you know, I just don't have that play on my call sheet? And that's really what we had here. That was a big hole they were trying to get out of.
Yeah, big gain, still a ways to go, though. So on 4th down, on comes the Dallas kicker, Brett Maher. From the right hash, it's a 46-yard attempt. And that is no good. And this will remain a scoreless game. Of course, the door for Maher was opened after a little bit of a surprise move, the Cowboys letting go of Dan Bailey last year.
Yeah, Maher took over in the preseason. He's from Nebraska via the Canadian Football League where he kicked for 4 years. And I saw him personally make 2 game-winning field goals last season against Detroit and in Atlanta.
They'll start out on the ground. It's Saquon Barkley. He's got a 1st down and then some at midfield. And he's got it across the 50 to the 47-yard line. An excellent way to start the drive there, 18 yards. Well, that's something we saw over and over again in Barkley's rookie season. He had 91 catches last year, most ever by a rookie running back. Part of a fantastic rookie campaign that saw him go over 2,000 total yards. Now Saquon Barkley. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
They went right back to him, but he pretty much had nowhere to go on that play.
Yeah, the previous carry looked pretty good. That one, maybe he was a little tired. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he should have tapped out and had a second back come in and maybe make that run. Who knows?
Faking the give to Barkley. Now Manning. And now the ball comes out. Manning lost it. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, and that could have been trouble.
Well, that was a big oops right there. But how about his ability to correct it? Loses the football, able to get it back himself.
Yeah, pounced right back on it, keeps possession. Third and long for the Giants, and Eli following the sack. From the gun, it's Manning. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And the tackle going to be made at the 41 as they stop him a few yards short of the first. It'll be a pickup of 13, but it'll still lead to a 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
Here now, Johnny Townsend, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd. And how about this, a fake? Oh, and this turns into a mess as it's intercepted. Picked off by George Iloka. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27.
And that's a great example of ball skills right there, partner. You and I do a lot of games, and I can't tell you how many guys look to run with the football before they've intercepted it. So that's a nice job of focusing on the task at hand and coming away with the interception.
Now Prescott. It'll hit the slant route. That's caught by Cooper. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. 23 yards, the final tally. So Amari Cooper out of Northwestern High School in Miami making a nice play there.
And it's so funny that when I was going through the draft process when he came out of Alabama and was inquiring about him and his skills, they say it all began back in Miami. He really became a pro receiver at a young age because of his attention to detail and precision. But don't forget his athletic ability. That's what made that catch there.
And he did spend 1 year with Teddy Bridgewater as his quarterback there, so that helped back in high school. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46.
A quick observation, Brandon, because early on in this game, I'm seeing linebackers playing with their noses close to the line of scrimmage.
And my guess is the wheels are turning on that other sideline. As a play caller, you're filing that away right now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're trying to find that opportunity later on when you can play action.
Oh, Elliott going to be hit. He coughs it up. Loose football. And the Giants have it. It's picked up. And they have the football and will set up shop at the 33-yard line. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. He didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, let's just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free, made a big play.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. So the fumble recovery, and now Manning. That's caught by his tight end, Evan Ingram. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
It's so important to tackle well against these guys, but you and I both know that's easier said than done when the guy you're trying to tackle looks like this guy.
And it's usually going to take more than one man to get him down, and it did right there. So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 at the 41. Manning, that one caught by Ellison. Busting through contact. Just wasn't a huge hole there for him to operate. Stopped just inside the 35-yard line. Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. It's brought in left side by Tate. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a 1st down. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. Well, the spark that ignited the Cowboys-Giants rivalry goes back to 1960 when Dallas's first head coach and former New York Giants assistant Tom Landry brought his 0-10 rookie squad into Yankee Stadium. That game would finish a 31-31 tie, the only non-loss in the expansion Cowboys' first season. 6 decades later, still one of the most heated rivalries in the NFL. Heck, even Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett spent 3 seasons in a Giants uniform. And Dallas leads the overall series, including the last 4 meetings. Into the red zone now. Manning. Looking for Diggs, and it's intercepted. Picked off Byron Jones. And he will take this all the way up past the 40-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. We've seen both of these offenses still sort of in that figuring things out phase, but I suspect some action on the scoreboard soon as they start out here 1st and 10. Give them 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. Trying to get one more in here before the quarter breaks. We're scoreless after 1. Start of the second quarter, and it's the Cowboys in possession as they've got it with a 2nd and 1 coming up. Off play action to Elliott. Here's Prescott. Blitz coming, and down he goes.
Well, that's the second time he's been sacked so far in the first half, and if they have designs on having a big year, on going anywhere, they've got to find a way to keep him upright so he can throw the football.
They'll need a big play here. Will Dak and the Cowboys after the sack. It's 3rd and long. Out of the gun. Here's Prescott. Complete to Jason Witten. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. Hate to see this. Week 1 of the season. We'll be back. Prescott going to come up 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 6 for 6 here to start the ball game. They play fake to Elliott. Now Prescott. Buying time to his left. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. He'll get 3 yards on the scramble there at 2nd down.
Okay, he's not going to get the first down, but this is still a nice job of buying some time and then running to get to the sideline and get out of bounds and avoid the big hit.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Prescott. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
On 3rd down, it's Prescott. And that will be incomplete.
They tried to make something happen, but that one came up incomplete and really wasn't a good-looking throw.
Yeah, maybe even go as far as to call that a little ill-advised.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's the right phrase for it. Definitely ill-advised. Just wonder about his mechanics right now, you know, and that's the tough part. You do so much stuff in practice to make it repetitive, but it has to repeat under pressure, whether it's pressure from the defense or just the pressure of playing the game.
And that one's not going to get there. Not enough juice. An ambitious effort, but it's well short. Maher was 6 of 7 from 50-plus as a 29-year-old rookie, including a Cowboy record 62-yarder, and he's able to knock this one through from distance as well.
Remember, 4 years in Canada, kicked in all kinds of conditions, gives a guy a lot of confidence coming to the NFL.
Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. And he's going to go down. They sack him back at the 42. Defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence applied the heat.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes on certain passing situations because it's not going to fool anyone. I don't know if that was the case here, but the end result was the same. No one fooled. The quarterback was hit.
Now following the sack, they'll come up here on a 2nd down and 12. Manning going to hand it off to Barkley. And not much there at all. Maybe a yard up to the 43.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
Now a pass hauled in downfield. And all the way in. Touchdown, New York. Evan Ingram, 57 yards, as his guys are first onto the scoreboard here this afternoon. The game had been pretty uneventful offensively until that big strike.
No doubt about it. Almost felt like they were just going back and forth a little bit in the first quarter. But in the second quarter, things ramped up a little bit. Things jumped up. And you're exactly right. Going to make a highlight film or two. We'll be watching that one later on today.
Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. A reminder coming up later tonight, the Patriots unfurl their 6 banners. They play host to their rival Steelers. And then on Monday night, it's the one weekend of the year where you get 2 games to wrap up the week. Texans and Saints from New Orleans in the early game, then Broncos and Raiders. Vic Fangio's coaching debut and the Raiders' final season opener in Oakland. That's the late game, 10:30 Eastern. This is Elliott. He'll have a first down past the 40.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post, because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
On play action, Prescott. Got an open man. It's Michael Gallup. And they're able to get this one past the 30 down to the 25. Give them 19 there as the drive marches forward. Prescott, of course, the former 4th-round pick back in 2016, started all 48 games in his first 3 years in the NFL and now making start number 49 to kick off 2019. First down, Prescott. And nearly picked off there. Almost intercepted. Instead, 2nd down.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete. A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment, but here, he's one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Play action now. Prescott looking for the end zone.
They went with the dime look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
Brett Maher now for the Cowboy field goal. Right hash mark, a 42-yard attempt. The kick by Maher is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So the 3 points there gets them a bit closer, but you can bet there's probably some guys on that sideline, Charles, thinking we deserve a better play.
No doubt, Brandon. Those 2 misses earlier kind of hanging over them right about now. In a tight one like this, if those are makes, then obviously this is a completely different game.
This one taken from the 7. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. We're in the second quarter. They've got the lead. The lead, though, not so much because of the ground game, because of their air attack, Charles.
So what they're seeing so far is the possibility of things loosening up later in the ground game. Through the air first, maybe they have to start respecting that even more as the game goes on, and then there will be running lanes to find later.
Yeah, try to get him more involved here on this drive, maybe. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick first down. Manning now 6 of 10 in this first half. He's got his guys a first down here. They'll run with Barkley. And the hole closes quickly there. He gets maybe a couple up to the 38.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
No gain that time on the completion, and it'll be 3rd down.
Got to give credit where it's due. Really nice defense on that play. The pitch and catch was successful, but not any run after it.
They had the catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at 3rd down here. Working from the gun, Manning gets this out to Saquon Barkley. And a nice job there defensively. They get him to the ground short of the first, right around the 42.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
Here now, Johnny Townsend on, we think, to punt, though he's faked it earlier, but he was unsuccessful. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. Here's the Dallas offense now, heading back out onto the field. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that. They weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
15 yards is the pickup there, and the drive starting very nicely. First down. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They keep on the ground with Elliott. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. It's a gain of 12, and the Cowboys pick up the first. Always a lot of great storylines when the Giants and Cowboys get together. And, of course, one everybody was buzzing about, the great young running back, Zeke and Saquon, who finished 1-2 in the NFL in rushing last year. And down on the field before the game, you see those guys talking. You realize how big they are. Zeke at 228 pounds, Saquon 233 pounds. A bright future in the backfield for both of these franchises. So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. They'll try to throw now. Prescott, flush to his right. 7 yards there and a first down.
And we have to give credit to him for buying time and extending the play. But you know, there's some really upset defenders on that one. They thought that they had him. Instead, he was coated in Teflon and got away.
On 1st and 10, Prescott. He's just going to dump this one off to his fullback out of the backfield. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. 13 yards and a first down, Cowboys.
Now, that's often a surprise for the defensive guys when they see the big fella slide out of the backfield and catch the ball. Not something they usually go over in practice very often.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. A first down carry by Elliott. And he loses the football a second time. And the Giants have it. It's picked up. And he'll take this across midfield and inside the 45.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 46. Sean Lee, the longtime vet, getting in and getting to the QB. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted. And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
Now Manning. And a throw there going to be incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Here now, Johnny Townsend, as he's on to punt for New York. And he gets this away, and look at this. This is a good one. And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way into the end zone for a touchback. Zeke and the Cowboys ready to begin their next drive. He's been pretty effective so far, solid numbers yardage-wise, but the fumble last time, that's what he's thinking about. Has to be a little bit more secure.
Yeah, he does. Would you yell at him right here? Would you get on him?
No, I think you pick him up, don't you?
I agree with you totally. You pick him up in this situation because a lot of game left to be played, and he can be special with the ball in his hands. In that situation, he wasn't. But you talk to him about the 4 points of pressure, high and tight to the body, and let him go back to it.
There's still plenty of time in this game, so he'll have opportunities to secure that ball with those 4 points of pressure.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion that would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication, and as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
2 minutes to play in this first half. 7-3, our score. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll again head down to visit with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando, back for another year. He'll have scores from around the NFL here on this opening weekend. Now a nice throw here, right side. He hauls it in. There he goes, right. And oh, at the end of it, he stripped. Ball comes loose. And the Giants have it. It's picked up.
Whenever I see a team turn it over on back-to-back drives, fumbles on their last two, I know one person's blood pressure who is starting to rise, and that's the head coach.
Absolutely. And when's it going to go down? When they stop fumbling?
When they stop fumbling and after he's assessed the game film, and only if they manage to win the game.
Following the fumble recovery, Manning, open man here, T.J. Jones. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Manning going to throw. The left side completion to Jones. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts. as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. Eli Manning, what a fixture he has been for the Giants organization, making his 15th opening day start in this game, going all the way back to 2005. Of course, the question, will this be his last opening day start for the 38-year-old quarterback? The Giants drafting Daniel Jones out of Duke, 6th overall in the 2019 draft. They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. The Giants on third down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. Now Manning, and that is incomplete. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to build off the turnover.
Well, the defense certainly did its part. It got them the football. But you're exactly right. It looks like they're going to have to punt this one away. And it's not a turnover, but doesn't it feel like one after grabbing the momentum with the defensive play?
Yeah, and they had all that momentum after getting the football, and now zapped right back in the other direction. Getting set to go again, we get a look at Amari Cooper as he heads back out there now. With them losing here in the second quarter and his limited productivity so far, you'd have to think they're going to try to look to him a little bit more, right?
I would guess you would start to see maybe some quick screens, some hitches, anything to get the ball in his hands quickly and let him try and do some damage after the catch. Or maybe just flip some formations and keep him isolated where it's more of a one-on-one route and get the ball to him.
Let's say just 4 verts, right?
Hey, why not? 4 verts, one of the best routes in football. Hard to cover each guy all the way along the route.
So far, just 1 catch for him. So the line of scrimmage all the way up to midfield now as they've got it 1st and 10. Prescott to throw it. The tight end Jarwin with it out on the left side. The Cowboys going to use their second timeout now as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2. Had the completed pass, but for no gain, stopped right at the line, so it's 2nd and 10. Prescott now from the 50. His throw incomplete. The intended receiver, Tavon Austin, and that'll make it 3rd down.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter, a lot of time to change things. So now 3rd and 10, a big play to start the drive, but nothing since. And again, it's Prescott. This one to Jarwin over the middle. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. That one goes for 29 yards on 3rd down. Prescott yet again. Pressure applied, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back at the 33-yard line. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. From the left hash, it's an even 50-yard attempt. So we are at halftime here in the opener of the 2019 regular season. As we'll get you over to Orlando, where standing by is Jonathan Coachman. He has our EA Sports halftime report.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome back to football, everybody. We've got a full slate of 16 games here to start the new season. So let's take our first trip around the NFL. We'll get started up at Lincoln Financial Field in Philly, where it was the Redskins who were victorious in that one on the road. Dwayne Haskins, 2 touchdown passes as his guys remain unbeaten. From there, we head all the way out west to see what's happening with the LA Chargers. And they have the lead in that one over the visiting Indianapolis Colts. Keenan Allen, a touchdown reception. Lastly, let's get you way up to Seattle. See what's happening with the Seahawks. And they've got the lead in their ball game over the visiting Cincinnati Bengals. Terrence Williams, 2 touchdown catches on the afternoon. Meanwhile, in our game, not a lot of offense to go around. 7-3 is our score. Will we see things open up in the second half? To find out, we get it back to our guys in the booth, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. We'll see if week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. This will be fielded at the 8. Tavon Austin, he's going to go. Touchdown, Cowboys. That a 92-yard kick return, and the Cowboys have taken the lead.
We've sat in a lot of meetings, and they always talk about the offense taking advantage of beginning a half. Well, special teams coaches don't listen to that. They want to take advantage with their own unit, and they just did.
Yeah, they trailed in the locker rooms, and they changed that immediately.
I think they drew that one up special. That felt like something he pulled out of his pocket that he'd been holding for a while, and they were able to use it effectively.
So he fielded the kick at the 8 and never looked back. A great return all the way to the end zone. 92 yards all told. So let's try this again. After the kick return TD, here's yet another kickoff. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Giants offense now getting set to start the third quarter. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
That's on Kevin Zeitler, acquired in the Odell Beckham trade. A false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Caught right side, Tate. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up second down. A lot of eyes on Golden Tate this year to see if he can take over some of the production that OBJ had before he got shipped to Cleveland. You know, Beckham had 1,000-yard seasons 4 of his 5 years in New York. Golden Tate struggled at the end of last year in Philadelphia, but he had a really good run in Detroit, including 3,000-yard seasons in the middle of this decade. It's a pickup of 17 and a first down.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and get the quarterback a really nice target.
Now this pass into the hands of Saquon Barkley. Call it a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll make it a second down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Throwing now is Manning. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. This is Barkley, and an alley to run. He's got the first down and more inside the 40. And now off to the races down the right side. Touchdown, Giants. Saquon Barkley, 54 yards. And the Giants are going to jump back in front. Well, they were just hoping that run would pick up the first. They got the whole enchilada.
And I'm so used to teams on 3rd down, doesn't matter how far they need for a first down, throwing the ball. Instead, they run it, and as you said, picked up the first down, and then some, and then some. In fact, everything all the way for a touchdown. Terrific play.
Rosas good with the extra point, and the lead is now 14-10. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This will be fielded at the 8. And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And now Dallas gets set to take the field. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on second and short.
I know the toss play begins with the guy taking the snap and turning around and tossing it to the runner. But where the real intrigue is, can they seal the edge, whether it's an offensive tackle or a tight end, in the direction they want to run the football? If they do that, that's the result that you get, that type of a gain. If they don't, oftentimes it's not a very successful play.
They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he's going to run into a brick wall right in the middle of the field, and I don't think he got there. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
They'll run it with Elliott, and I'm not sure he got there. Did they stop him? They did. So certainly an interesting call there to go for.